crisscross, pulling floss, needle thread from black to red, pink, navy green, and in between, snug as my brain. I'm Stitch Me Sane.
Hi Flosstube, welcome to my channel. My name's Carla and this is Stitch Me Sane. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok and here on YouTube. I'm really active over on Instagram and TikTok, so if you want to see some regular updates, please come and join me on either of those platforms. Welcome to anyone new to this channel and welcome to returning subscribers. This is a channel where I talk about all things cross-stitching. So if that's not your jam, this might not be the place for you. Well, for the last couple of Flosstubes, I have been talking about doing a Carolyn Manning WIP parade, and I thought, right, today is the day. I've got an opportunity, so I'm going to show you all of my Carolyn Manning WIPs, and I did a bit of a count just before starting this video, and there are 16 of them, ranging in all different types of things: fabrics, fabric color, design choice and progress. So some have got a little and some are actually getting close to a finish. Today is Saturday, March the 14th, and I am coming to you from Australia, where the weather is starting to cool off a little bit, although today is still going to be 28 and tomorrow is 32. But can definitely start to feel autumn sinking in. The days are getting shorter, the nights are getting colder, and yeah, I'm a bit envious of all of you on the other side of the world that are headed into warmer weather, because I hate winter, and you will probably hear me whinging as I continue to film over the coming months about how cold it is. I hope you're all doing really well. I can't believe I only saw you 2 weeks ago, so I made a commitment this year to really get back into my filming and to share things with you. I love watching Flosstube and I really enjoy filming, but yeah, life has prevented that a little bit over the last couple of years where my videos have been rather sporadic. So really made a deliberate sort of choice in my mind this year to dedicate some more time to filming and sharing my progress and all of my WIPs with you, new starts. I have a lot of WIPs, and I think that's probably reflected in the fact as well that I'm going to show you 16 pieces from just the one designer today. So for those of you who are not aware of Carolyn Manning, but if you are a pretty avid stitcher, I would find that unlikely that you are not aware of Carolyn's designs. Certainly one of my favorite designers and one of my go-tos for when I am feeling a little tired, my eyes might be a little strained, and I'm not really in the mood for picking up one of my usual big full coverage pieces. So yeah, settle in. I'm just looking down at my pile here. I have 16 and really looking forward to showing you each and every one of them. So let's get started. I actually don't have, the first one I'm going to show you, I don't have a picture of the full finished piece because it was released as a sale. It's either last year or the year before. I actually think it was 2024. And admittedly, I have really neglected this one. I did start it with my dear friend Barb over at Stitch Brat, and you can find her on Instagram and here on Flosstube where she goes as Stitch Brat Stew. Actually, a number of them I'll probably reference Barb because she also loves Carolyn Manning and actually inspired and influenced me when I first started getting into stitching these WIPs, because she has a range of finishes and they are stunning, and has a number of WIPs on the go just like I do. So we have started quite a few over the years together. She's finished a few, I haven't. It's not a race, right? It's about enjoying the progress and the process. So the first one I'm going to show you is this, which was that stitch along. Oh, this is not working very well, is it? I'm going to try and show you. Oh, I'm even getting a reflection. Okay, maybe we go this way. So this is Touch Meadow, and it was a cell. Where are we going to get the best shot? There we go. So it was, how many? 12 different blocks. So you were meant to complete 1 block per year. I started it. It's sort of, this one was a bit of a take off the Shooting Star collection, where they've just, Carolyn made the blocks smaller and brought the diamonds down into smaller diamonds than what you would find on a normal Shooting Star. Barb's finished hers, and she finished ages ago, so I really encourage you to go check that out because it was a phenomenal finish. This is where I'm at. I'm stitching on an 18 count Aida, so it is fairly big. It's a pale pink, which is a beautiful color I felt for this this particular WIP. And now that I'm looking at it, I am actually feeling like I should get back into it because it is a stunning piece. But I only got that much, which was the start of 1 block, and I think it was only like, I don't know, 3 or 4% of 1 block out of the 12. You'll find I stitched most of my Carolyn Mannings on Aida. Make that all. I stitch all of my Carolyn Mannings on Aida, but they do range in count size. So I'll just show you this a little bit closer. This is what it looks like on the 18 count. I think I might leave this out. Really like it. I picked this fabric up really, really cheap too. For those of you in Australia, most of the Linkcraft stores are sort of going through a liquidation process and closing down. And they did have some 18 count pale pink in the City Melbourne store at one stage, going very, very cheap. And I bought a whole stack of it. So I've got a few on this fabric actually. So that is number 1, the Star Touch Meadow cell. It came in 12 different downloads, and I have only started the 1. Okay, next up, and I am going to show them all to you on my little device here that I use, because I use PK Pattern Keeper to stitch all of my charts that are compatible with Pattern Keeper. That's my preference. Next up we have, this is the same fabric, and I started this one I think last year. Nancy, my good friend at Bohemian Stitchery, she also started this one. I probably would like to be a little bit further ahead on this one actually, because I really, really like it. It's called Flutter of Jellyfish. So it was that collection of the Shooting Star charts that Carolyn brought out. Yeah, I think it was last year, where there was a collection of them that referred to like groups of different types of animals. So this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. Those colors are stunning. Some of my favorite, well, actually all of my favorite colors, pink, purple, and green with some blue in there. That's my color palette. I love it. Love it so much. So I'm going with a 18 count Aida for this one as well. Interestingly, some of these designs come with the smaller charts as well when you buy the PDF. And I'll just show you what I mean by there. So I'm stitching the large one, but some of these designs come with then a variation of 4 smaller that you can stitch if you're not down with stitching the bigger ones. The bigger ones are all full coverage, and they sit at around 35 to 36,000 stitches, so they're not small. The more recent designs that Carolyn's brought out, and I'll just zoom in there, have actually got a border around the outside, which I really quite like. It adds to the stitch count, but not all of them, the earlier designs don't have that border. So I am 4.53% complete on this one. So I went for a top left start. And you'll find I start in all random places with these charts. So that is where I'm at. Look at those colours, just beautiful. I can't stand it when I have these little missing stitches. I need to go back and fix that. And in fact, I have been working on this one this month. So in my next WIP update, which hopefully will be in the next couple of weeks, you will see hopefully a little bit more progress on this one. I love this needle minder too. We are more loved than you know. You are more loved than you know. So beautiful little needle minder there too. I generally have a needle minder on most of my WIPs. I find it much easier to just pick up and go. The color palette on this one is absolutely incredible. As I said, some of my favorite colors. Look at those threads. Just divine. Sorry if you can hear my puppy barking. She is just gone 12 months, so she's still pretty eager and enthusiastic about life in general, and gets a little bit worked up if something out of the ordinary is happening. I dare say one of my children out there is sort of, you know, doing something to inspire her to bark. So that is Jellyfish, and I love that one. Next one I have, you have seen this one a few times over the last couple of months. It's Dragonfly, and this was the very, very first Carolyn Manning that I ever started. This is what it will look like when it is finished. I do apologize for the angle on this to try and get the best visual for you, but it reminds me of a kaleidoscope. And excitedly, I am gunning for a finish on this one because I think this has been a work in progress now for 5 years maybe. So I would love a finish on this one. I'm currently at 63.64%, which is pretty cool. This is one of the ones that doesn't have the border, so the stitch count is a little smaller. And it is on a 14 count Aida. This Aida I've been working on for such a long time has become so soft and lovely to work with. This is where I'm at. It's starting to really look fantastic. I'm really pleased with this. I have mentioned in my previous videos that Carolyn Manning's I often will sub in some anchor threads because I have a really, really large collection of anchors. Whilst I do have the full DMC master set, I have so many anchor threads that I would love to sort of use them over the years rather than just having them sit there. So I find these Carolyn Manning designs really a good choice to sub in some anchor threads. So I think this has got about 50-50 called for DMC and then subs. But the coverage is fantastic on 14 count. So if the higher counts are not for you and you want to do a Carolyn Manning, this gives you a good idea of how a 14 count looks. I went for quite a few different methods on this one, started all over the place, filled in that corner, then I went for a diamond first, and now I'm just kind of like, I think in my head I might be now working on sort of colour finishes because I have a few that I can knock off quite quickly with some low stitch count numbers on them. I think quite a few of them only have less than 200 stitches to go. Random thread, that often happens. Pop that over there and hopefully I remember where that's meant to go back to. So that is Dragonfly. That's another one from the Shooting Star collection. So most of mine are the Shooting Star collection. Carolyn's really delved into a lot of more intricate designs recently with specialty threads and fancy fabrics and all those things. But for me as a full coverage stitcher, I still really like her full coverage design. So you'll find a lot of mine are actually from the Shooting Star collection. This next one is a little bit smaller, and this is another one that I'm actually aiming for a finish this year. And I started this one with Angie over at Angie Slowly Crafts, and you can find her on Instagram and here on Flosstube. She's been filming again recently too, and I've loved finally, yeah, seeing you, Angie. It's been a little while, and I'm loving all of your WIPs and seeing you back here on YouTube. So this one's called Glow Up, and it's not from any particular collection, I don't think, and it's far smaller, so it's only 12,000 stitches, I believe. This is what it will look like when it is finished, and I just couldn't get past those colours. The title really reflects what that sort of looks like, that real glow effect. Like, look at those, just stunning. And unlike a lot of others, it's got a really little intricate border with the white outlining that border in there as well. So yeah, this one's a bit smaller. It's only 12,769 stitches in total, and I am currently at 49.79%. So only about 6,000 stitches to go, which I think is a very reasonable goal for the rest of the year. This is where I'm at. Just looking at which way I'm going to show you. This way. That is where I am at. I might actually use this for my thumbnail, so take a little snapshot. But yes, that is beautiful. Oh, another one with another thread. Okay, this is ridiculous. You do learn about your methods as you do these floss tubes, and where you could probably improve a little bit to keep things a bit more organized, right? But yes, look at how beautiful that is. Stitching up. 18 count Ada. This one's on a white fabric. I use 2 threads for all of my Carolyn Mannings because I really like that sort of tapestry really full sort of tapestry sort of effect where the coverage is just divine, in my view. Anyway, we all have our own preferences, right? Angie's is looking great. She's actually completed squares as she's gone, so I think she's finished this one here, whereas I've just gone rogue and I'm stitching all over the place. So it'd be nice to maybe tidy that up a little bit in the coming months. Okay, that's Glow Up. Next up is a chart that doesn't have a whole stack of progress, actually, and I started this one with Nancy as well. We started this at the retreat that we attended in Ballarat last year, which was in August. We bought this fabric at the retreat for a bargain basement price, and we both already had the chart, so we thought, right, no time like the present, right, for a new start. You've always got to have a new start at a retreat. It's kind of almost compulsory in my view. So this one is called Snapdragon, and it does have the border, so I think this one's a bit of a newer design. Love those colors as well. I think I have seen someone finish this. M, is it you? Stitcher Aussie M over on Instagram. I think you might have finished this one, but I might have that wrong. Apologies if I have that wrong. She's definitely finished some of the ones that I have been working on. So a very meager start on this one. I am only 1.03%. That needs to change. And in fact, I still owe some stitches to this one because in a challenge that Barb and I did recently for the Australian Open tennis event, she selected this one when one of my players had a loss. So I still owe these stitches, Barb. I might keep this one out. It's a 14 count Ada. I don't know what color we'd call this. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a random piece of fabric. This is where my little meager 1.03% is in the center. This is one of my middle daughter Isla's, one of her favorite needle miters of mine. She loves the Minions. So there we go. I think I might keep this one out and keep working on it too. Snapdragon. So I do have quite a few on 14. Unlike Dragonfly, this is still rather stiff, this Ada, so clearly you've got to work on it a little bit more to soften that up, which will make it a lot more enjoyable as well and easier to get the hoop on. I stitch with a hoop with all of my stitching, not just my Carolyn Mannings, and I have no issues throwing the hoop over my already stitched parts on there. Hoops work beautifully for me. That's my preference. Next up, we have another relatively recent one, and I started this one with Nancy as well. Told you that these certain people would keep cropping up because we love Carolyn Manning designs. This is Moth Orchid. So I had the chart for quite some time and only started it last year. Actually, Em, I think it's Moth Orchid that you've actually finished, which is this one. Again, beautiful. Love the color combination. I think you're all kind of getting a bit of an idea of the types of colors that I really like. So I think I'm a little further ahead on this one, but not much. 3.76%. And does this one have the border? Yes, it does. These colours are delicious. So for those of you who are new here, I generally make my own thread cards on, this one was a Tiny Teddies box, little biscuits here in Australia. I just cut it up, punch some holes in, and oh voila, saves me a lot of money, and I have them readily available. And it's good use of recycling, right? I do like to recycle things where I can. So I went for a centre start on this one as well. It's on an 18 count Ada. 2/1, and that is where I am at. Loving those colours already, and I really like the fabric colour choice that I went with. It's a little bit different to the Snapdragon one, a bit paler. I think this one is probably one that I like a little better. So yeah, that's where I'm at on that one. Generally, I'm a parker, so on my full coverage pieces, you will see I park my threads, but on Carolyn Manning's, I tend to try to avoid that. I've got a few hanging threads, but not a lot. Over the years, I have managed to figure out what the length of thread is that I need to complete one of those little diamonds, and I can nearly get it right each time. Now, this one is currently in time out. I am a little bit, shall we say, a bit of an avoider, if you like. When I make a mistake on something and I realize that I've made that mistake, it goes into time out because I want to spend my time stitching, not frogging. That's got to change a little bit. This one is beautiful. It's called Stained Glass. That is what it is going to look like when it is finished. It is not huge, so there is a really large range of stained glass pieces. I've seen a few others start different versions of the stained glass, but I went with this one because I really liked the darker colours and on the darker fabric. Recently, I actually watched Mama Bear's Stitchery. I think that's her proper Flosstube name. She's also over on Instagram, and she showed her framed finish of this piece. Oh, be still my beating heart. It looked so good. So I think that's inspired me a little bit to pull this one back out, frog my mistake, and put it back into my rotation. I initially started with the 310 outline on this one, and I think that's what's causing me a few challenges, is you really have to concentrate and count, and generally my brain tends to slow down when I'm stitching Carolyn Manning Designs charts. So this one is a little bit more challenging. Where are we at? It's a total of 25,863 stitches. It is full coverage as well. Is it full coverage totally on the border? No, it's not completely full coverage. So there's outline in the little squares blank, and so is the outline on the border. So 19.14%, which way are we? This way. And this is where I'm at. I went with a charcoal grey 18 count Ada, 2/1. I'll show you where my mistake is actually. It is right here, this line. So this square here. I don't know what I've done, but I've pulled it in far too soon. So it should have actually come out a little bit further and then up. And I'm not too sure of the knock-on effect of that either. There could be some mistakes in here too. But I mean, come on, colour, just frog it and get on with it. You know, nearly 20%. The colours just pop on this charcoal. I tell you what, if you've been following me on Instagram recently, I have been posting so many navy and black fabrics. There's something about them that I'm really drawn to right now. Just how the colours pop. This one's becoming a little bit, I need to fold my fabric on a different angle, because that centre there where I've been folding is starting, it's just not looking very, very nice. So maybe I need to start folding that a little differently. But yeah, look at that. It's beautiful. So yeah, I started with the 310, then I was going to do a colouring in effect. Then I got a little bit bored. Then I thought I'll put a bit of colour in, and I'm just all over the place on this one. But it looks beautiful. Okay, next up we have Carnival. This is actually from the Broken Star collection. Broken Star? Yes, Broken Star. And I started this one. I was inspired by Barb because she's actually finished this one. She finished it a number of years ago. I bought the chart. Took me a little while to start it. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Four Seasons. I live in Victoria in Australia, which has definite defined seasons as opposed to up north, Queensland, and the warmer, more tropical parts of Australia. And so this kind of reminds me of the way in which it's broken up into the 4 sort of quadrants, each of the seasons. So that's what it's going to look like when it is finished. I went with a center start and I'm on an 18 count Ada called, I think it's Oatmeal or maybe Natural, something like that. It's the one with the little fibers through it. I am 14.07% complete. 26,000 this one is, so again, not huge. And this is where I am at. Is that the right way? Nope. I believe that is the right way. I think. Yes, that way. So those colours are beautiful. I used this one as my travel piece for a little while recently and got a little bit more done on it. Goodness me, I kind of want to work on all of these now that I'm showing them to you. I will generally have 2 or 3 Carolyn Mannings in a rotation. I usually do sort of like a monthly rotation, which is going to work really well for my filming. So that is Carnival from the Broken Star collection. And those ones are a little bit smaller than the Shooting Stars. So if you don't want something as large, I would highly recommend those. Just bear in mind they are not symmetrical. All right, next up we have more of this pink Ada. This is another, it's 18 count. This one is a little bit out of the ordinary for me, and it's called Granny is No Square. That is what it is going to look like when it is finished. Beautiful, love it. Went for a center start. And these ones are not, oh, I take that back. This is probably the biggest I have, the biggest one I have except for that huge, the Meadow Cell one that I showed you first. So this has got 48,000 stitches and I'm only at 2.29%. Went for a center start and that is where I am at. Let me just fold that a little bit to make it easier to see. And that is where I am at. Really like this. Oh, again, this is another one I need to pull out. Work on a little bit more. Beautiful. I haven't really seen a lot of people stitching the Granny collection. It kind of reminds me of, you know, those crocheted rugs. My piano teacher used to have her couch full of them when I was younger taking lessons, and so it kind of brings back memories of that for me. And there are quite a few colours in this one too, actually. I've had to go 2 thread cards. The way I tend to work when I'm using these thread cards is I'll pull from my DMC master set that I have in my primary stitching place, and as I need each colour, I'll pull out a length of thread, pop it on my thread card. So I don't load my thread cards right from the start. I just find that to be very time consuming. I'm fairly time poor. I work full time. I have 3 children, and I would prefer to use my time to stitch. So as I work on each colour, it will get added to the thread card. Okay, next up, you have seen this one fairly recently as well, and I think this one will be quite familiar to a lot of you. It's called Arctic Blast. It's a free chart over on Carolyn's Facebook. I think it's the group, so I think you've actually got to join the group to have access to the free charts. There's a whole collection of free charts over there. I highly encourage you to check it out. This is a shooting star, but it's a little bit different with the shapes that she's used. Generally, they're sort of diamonds and squares and triangles, But this, whilst it is still structured when you're stitching in that sort of those three shapes, she's designed it so that it almost has an appearance of, yeah, circles. So this one's very cool. It does have the border. Nancy and Barb are both stitching this one, so the three of us are stitching this together, and I am can absolutely guarantee that I have the least amount of progress. Nancy's is like getting close to 50%, and Barb's been working on hers pretty heavily recently as well. Sorry, I just dropped my threads. Let me pick those up quickly. This one I'm doing a little bit different as well, because I do like to try and use up all the threads that I have in my stash, which I'm sure all of you have lots of random different threads that you've collected over the years. So I went with a silk and this is a Sullivan's, I think, white, just to blend in with those white, because there's a lot of B52 in this one. So I've just swapped out these two to complement the B52 and sort of doing different shapes. The colours are beautiful, sort of the greys, blues and purples. And I'm on a 14 count. I think this is called Duck Egg Ada. That is where I am at. So what did I say? 4.95% complete. Beautiful. Went for a centre start on this one too, which is usually my jam. I love a centre start. It means that I absolutely cannot fail in running out of fabric, right? If I've cut it right in the first place. So that is Arctic Blast, and if you would like to stitch that one, head on over to the Facebook group and download it. Next one is Ribbon Candy. Barb and I started this one as a bit of a sort of Christmas piece, not last year but the year before, so 2024, from the Broken Star collection. And we're both stitching it on different coloured fabrics, which is really cool. I love seeing hers. She went with a sort of a pale green Lugana. Where are we? Ribbon Candy. Oh, look at those colours. Definitely sort of throwing Christmas vibes, right? And so because it was, I went with a bright red 18 count Ada. And wowee, are these colours popping. I'm loving this. I worked quite heavily on it leading into the end of last year to celebrate the Christmas period. And I am at 14.96%. And this is 26,244 stitches. Look at that. How good is that looking? I am loving that. Two threads over one. I picked up this random red fabric really cheap somewhere. Had never used it for anything until this exact chart came along, and I'm like, perfect. There's always the chart that works for all the random fabrics that you collect in all the different colors. Just gotta be patient. Okay, so next we have, this was actually the second one that I ever started. This was inspired by a cell that Barb started many years ago. It was a dessert inspired cell because Carolyn released a number of different shooting stars that were inspired by desserts. So there's like birthday cake, there's blueberry cobbler. I chose carrot cake. Everyone else in the cell, I'm pretty sure, has finished theirs except me, which, you know. This is carrot cake. So that's what it looks like. Not my typical colour scheme, but I actually started this one with my mum in mind because they're very much her colours. So when I finish this, I think I'm going to frame and gift it to her. I also have anchor subs in this one, so my colours do look slightly different to the other finishes that I have seen. And I am pretty pleased with where I'm at, despite the fact that most others have already finished. I have 55.21% complete, and it goes this way. We're on an 18 count. It's the same Ada that's on Carnival, so that oatmeal natural type of fabric. Again, a different method. So I've done the whole border. I went from the center out. And what I've done is I've left this corner up here free so that I know which way it goes. Otherwise you can easily get confused with these symmetrical designs. But that is looking incredible as well. I need to get this one done. I have quite a few color completes already on this one as well. Look at that, stunning. This one should really, I should keep this one out actually, because Australia here, we're headed into autumn, and they are definitely autumn, or fall, as a lot of you like to refer to the season as. Definitely those colors. Okay, we are getting there. We are down to 4 left. Where am I at? 35 minutes, not too bad. So the next one I did start with Barb as well. She showed hers recently actually, and it is looking amazing. She went with a purple fabric. Purple is one of my favorite colors. Oh, so good. It's Grandma's Lilacs. I went with a white 18 count Ada. That is what it is going to look like. We both love purple and green, and that is, wow, purple and green, eat your heart out, right? So this one doesn't have the border, and I'm at 19.9%, 19.90, so close to 20% complete. Which way do we go on here? This way. And that is where I am at. So as you can see, again, a random method. Started in the center, and then I thought I might kind of approach this one similar to carrot cake and head out to the border and do the border and then bring it around that way. So those colors are looking incredible. Really, really pretty. This one I was aiming to get to 50% this year. We'll see how that objective goes. But yeah, check out Barb's. It is beautiful. The colors, oh my goodness, look at those, will you? Just gorgeous. Okay, this one is another one of the ones that was not really part of any of the collections that I typically have worked on. It is called Flower Crazy. So that is what it is going to look like when it is finished. It has some back stitching in this one too, would you believe? This is the only Carolyn Manning chart that I have that has back stitching. It is 31,000 stitches in total, and I'm at 2.13%. That's got to change. It's on this pink 18 count Ada again, and that is where I am at. So not a whole lot done. Center start, but it's very, very pretty. Looking great. I need to work on this one more too. How many times have I said that in this video? Oh, look, as long as the objective is at least one Carolyn Manning finish this year. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be Dragonfly, Glow Up, or one that I'm still yet to show you, which I might keep till last, because that is the one that I am the most furthest ahead on. Colors on Flower Crazy are beautiful, very bright and colorful, exactly my jam. Okay, this is the second last one. This is called Jade Vine. I love this chart the first time I saw it, and this is my most recent start. I started this over summer, and I was working on it while my kids were doing a lot of swimming because it was so hot. Let me find it. Jade Vine. It's got the border on it. Again, my type of colors, purples, greens, beautiful. Shooting Star collection. I went a white 18 count Ada. Not very far. I went a center start. That is where I am at, which is, just for reference, a whole 0.98%. There we go. So that's the most recent start, which took me to number 16 Carolyn Manning WIPs. One can never have too many Carolyn Manning designs. And the best part is they are so reasonably priced, and she releases new ones all the time. You're never poor on choice, and I think that there's something for everybody. All right, lucky last. So this one I started stitching, and I was using it as my travel piece. It's called Unicorn, and it's from the Tent Maker Smalls collection. Where are we? It was my third Carolyn Manning I ever started. That is what it is going to look like when it is finished. And what I chose to do was stitch them as 4 separate pieces and give one to each of my 3 daughters and me, so we all had a piece of unicorn. Now, get ready for this. I am at 82.23% finished. I haven't finished any of the 4, but they are all very, very close. And this one's actually on a 20 count, Ada. I still use 2 threads on a 20 count. I really like that coverage. I know a lot of other people prefer 1 thread on 20 count. I think that's the count really where you can go either way quite comfortably. It's really down to personal preference. So let's have a look at each of the 4 and where they're at. You'll see they're all very close to a finish. All right, this is number 1. Looking beautiful. I've subbed anchor in on this one as well, so it's slightly different to the mock-up. So that is number 1. I think in my head I figured out which daughter's getting which one, but I still haven't locked it in properly. I think they might be able to hear me, but I'm aiming for a Christmas gift. Number 2. Beautiful. I think this one is the closest to a finish. And number 3. Lovely. These have actually been around the world. I took these with me to South Africa just when COVID finished. They've been to so many different places in Australia. They really were my travel piece for a long, long time. And for some reason, I've just put them on the back burner. They need to get finished. I mean, hello, 80.23%, right? And lucky last. And this one must be the most recent that I was working on because it's got my needle minder. And there we go. Beautiful. Love them. So there you go, folks. They're my Carolyn Manning designs. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this WIP parade today. I've enjoyed showing you, and it's really inspired me to keep some of these out and start working on them more often. I love seeing all of yours, particularly on Instagram. They really photograph well as well. Yeah, so thank you for joining me, particularly if you're still with me at the end here. I might give some thought as to another different style WIP parade that I can do in the coming months, because I do have a number of designers where I have quite a few pieces, and yeah, I'll give that some thought. I'd love to hear from you. Was there one in the ones that I've shown you that really took your fancy? What was your favorite? Which one should I finish? Is there one that you're working on as well? I'd love to hear about that. But if you weren't aware of Carolyn Manning and you've watched this, you are now. Go check out her website because there are some phenomenal designs on there. And as I said, there's something for everybody. Yeah, so thank you very much for joining me today. I really value all of you watching along. Please subscribe. Please ring that bell. Us Aussie Flosstubers find it a little challenging to get ourselves out there to the wider stitching community. We just seem to not get as much traction on this platform as other countries do. So yeah, any love that you can throw at an Aussie Flosstuber, they are absolutely grateful. Yeah, so thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful day, weekend ahead, and happy stitching, everyone. Till next time, bye.